Peace and blessings. Welcome back to the channel once again, where we talk all things health and healing from a holistic perspective, and today will be no different. Today we're going to talk about 8 ways you can help your body start to detoxify, and why detoxification is not only absolutely necessary when it comes to maintaining your health, but it's also a key and pivotal step when it comes to reclaiming your health when you lose it to dis-ease in the body. Okay, and that's where we're going to start today. Now, I know this is a topic that I spoke about on multiple occasions on this channel, but I think it's really important that we revisit this because there's so many different layers and perspectives around detoxification. And when I scour the internet, you see so much crazy stuff out there, what people are saying is a detox and it's not a detox, that I think it's important for us to continually revisit this conversation so that people will be properly educated. And when you're properly educated, you can make educated decisions about your health. Okay. Now, I'll tell you this, going through school, detoxification isn't something that we talked about much at all. We definitely didn't talk about it in the space of it being important for healing. And what I mean by that is that the only time I think we talked about detoxification is when somebody had a drug overdose, or maybe somebody incidentally swallowed something. But we didn't talk about the everyday toxins that are getting on our skin, going in our mouths, that are in the environment, in the air, in the water, in our homes, etc. We didn't talk about those type of toxins, even though I took a class called toxicology. But these aren't things that are discussed around health. And so these aren't things that quite often aren't looked at when it's time to talk about how do we heal and maintain our health. So that's one reason why it's such an important conversation. The other reason why it's so important is because our bodies are designed to detoxify. We have several detoxification systems in our bodies. We have the liver, which is the master detoxification organ. We have the kidneys, which are filtering the blood to get toxins out of the blood. We have the lymphatic system, which is the sewage system in the body, collecting sewage, putting it out of the body, collecting viruses, bacteria, cancer, to dispose of it out of the body. Okay? So we have multiple detoxification systems, including our skin. Our skin is a detoxification system. So whenever there's something going on with the skin, it's just telling you what's going on the inside, and the body's trying to purge it out. So we have several ways that the body purges toxins out. As a matter of fact, with women have an extra detoxification system that men don't have, which is their vaginal route. You know, every month that you have your cycle, that's also a cleansing and detoxification process as well, too. So it's important to know, yes, we have these things in place, but they stop working. And they stop working because instead of us having a detoxification lifestyle, we have an intoxication lifestyle, okay? Especially in today's modern society. So yes, it is important because our bodies are designed to do that, to detoxify, to get rid of old cells that have become senescent, to cleanse the body, to get rid of waste, to get rid of not only the waste that we put in the body, but our bodies actually create waste while it's actually doing these biological processes that are keeping us alive and functioning. So detoxification is not only necessary when you get sick, it is necessary as an everyday, every minute of the day process to maintain life. Okay? Now, the unfortunate thing about society today is that we're surrounded by toxins. No one can get away from it. People ask me all the time, why do I continually do my own detox? Okay, so a lot of you know I have a full body detox. And so part of the detox is this parasite candida cleanse. The other part is this Tommy Detox, but it's a full body system. And why do I call it a full body system? Because a lot of times what I see out there is a liver cleanse. I'll see a gallbladder cleanse. I'll see a gallbladder and kidney cleanse. I'll see a foot bath detoxification. Okay. But it's important to know when you're trying to heal the body, you got to heal the body as a whole. And when you do these individual detoxes, the liver by itself what's important for you to know and understand, all of the detoxifications and systems in the body are interconnected. And what I mean by that is this. When you are trying to detoxify the liver, one of the most important things in detoxification of the liver is the bile, okay? The liver creates bile, sends it down the bile duct into the gallbladder, and then that goes into the small intestine. But what most people don't know about detoxification and when you're detoxing the liver is a lot of the toxins that are being detoxed out of the liver are going through that bile duct into the small intestine, okay? Now, if you're constipated, all right, you're not having regular bowel movements, and you're trying to detox the master detoxification organ in the body, then all you're doing is pulling all those toxins out of the liver where they're designed to be in the first place, and then putting them through that bile duct into the gallbladder, into the gut, which isn't working in the first place. Okay, they end up right back in the system. Okay, which could be dangerous. Okay, so that's why it's really important for people to know and understand, if you're gonna do a detox, you have to do it properly. Okay, and this is why I never do like this type of detox and this type of detox. I do a full body detox. It is a comprehensive thing. So that's why I have a full body detox system. You don't want to just cleanse out one area of the body, because although you have a name over here, liver, a name over here, kidney, a name over here, lymphatic system, they are all interconnected. And when one is online and functioning and the others aren't, you're doing yourself a disservice. And in many cases, you could be putting yourself at danger. So keep that in mind. The other thing that's important, before we get into the 8 ways that you can start to, boost your body's detoxification systems, is to realize how many toxins that we're being exposed to. When I start to name off the different ways that we're being exposed to toxins today, that we were not exposed to them 50, 60 years ago, and now our bodies as humans that have been developing over the course of millions of years and have been developing without exposure to any of these toxins that we're exposed to today. Now our bodies have no idea what to do with this, and this is why you're seeing all causes of mortality go up. This is why you're seeing cancer explode, even though they're telling you that it's not exploding. This is why you're seeing heart disease go up. This is why you're seeing autoimmune conditions go up through the roof. It's because the society that we live in today, especially in the last 20 years, I can go the last 20 years, everything has changed. So let me just give you a few examples so you understand how toxic we are today compared to 50 years ago, okay? I can even say 20 years, and I'll explain that in just a second. But if you think about today, 50 years ago, most of the processed foods that we're being exposed to today did not exist. They would not have been in the supermarket, because as a matter of fact, supermarkets are a relatively very new concept, okay? So most people were buying their foods fresh 50, 60 years ago, okay? You go back a little bit further, there's no refrigerator. The refrigerator is a relatively new concept. Okay, so there's no refrigerators, there's no supermarkets. If you want meat, you got to go to a butcher, and meat is by far the most expensive thing you can buy. So most people didn't eat meat every day, and the meat that they did eat wasn't exposed to hormones, wasn't fed soy, genetically modified soy and genetically modified corn. There's so many things that are different today. Okay, so when you think about our foods today, you go in, you look at the packaging, again, a relatively new concept, and you see a food label on there, and it has chemistry in there that you can't even pronounce. Thickening agents, emulsifiers, dyes, preservatives, the list goes on and on and on, okay? So the food system is totally different, and it's not just different a little bit, it's so different that most of American food is banned in other countries. It's night and day compared to food 50 years ago compared to today. Night and day. Not only in terms of the toxicity, but in terms of the nutrient levels in the food today. If you compared an apple 50, 60 years ago to an apple today, it's got like half of the nutrients that it had before. So the food is very different and it's toxic, all right? The air is more polluted. We definitely didn't have the number of cars that we have on the road today. We didn't have a lot of the industries that are puffing out all types of chemicals in the atmosphere that we have today. You know, we got several more billions of people, and most people are living on top of each other. Compared to 50 years ago, the population was more spread out. Okay, so the air is polluted, the water is polluted. We didn't 50, 60 years ago, we didn't put fluoride in the water. We didn't put chloride in the water. We didn't put chloramine in the water. You couldn't find traces of pharmaceutical drugs in the water, but you find all of those things and so much more today. So the water is polluted, all right? And then you start to think about the things that we're using in our houses, the household products, the flame retardants that are in and on everything, including toys and mattresses. And those things are very toxic to us as well, too. We didn't have genetically modified foods, okay, which are sprayed with pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides that kill insects, rodents, and so much more. But we don't think somehow spraying that plant with that pesticide, herbicide, and insecticide, and if you live in a farm area like I do, and you're seeing these other farmers who are spraying their crops with all these chemicals, you'll notice that they're in hazmat suits. They're not spraying them and smiling and got a hat on and a straw in their mouth and not covered. No, they're fully covered in a hazmat suit when they're spraying these chemicals. So the idea that you can wash that off, it doesn't work like that. So we're being exposed to that, okay? Then when you start to think about EMF, the EMF radiation that is coming from cell phone, computers, Wi-Fi, these are relatively new concepts in the last 20 years. It was not, for my young people out there, it wasn't common in the 90s to have a cell phone. It didn't become a thing to have a cell phone until the early 2000s. Okay? We weren't doing this on our phones every day. We weren't scrolling on our phones being exposed to radiation every minute on the day. Notice I didn't say hour because nobody puts their phone away for them for 3 feet or 2 minutes. Nobody does that anymore. So you're constantly being exposed to this radiation. That's exactly what it is. Not only through your phone, but through the Wi-Fi when you're walking through. And the best way to think about it is that if we're in a room with 100 people, that means that a satellite above the earth is sending down a signal to 100 people in that room and trying to find you, pinpoint you, so that when somebody calls you, it doesn't call this phone and it doesn't misconstrue who that call is supposed to go to. All right? The same way microwaves, in a microwave, heat up the food and cause damage to the food. Well, we don't understand how this EMF radiation that we're being exposed to any and all, every day, every minute on the day, we don't know what this is going to do to us in the next 10 years from now. We haven't really looked at how this is affecting our health today. Okay? Well, I'm not even talking about the plastic, which is a relatively new concept, plastic, and how that plastic is leaking, endocrine disruptors like BPA and BPS and BPF. And these things are disrupting our endocrine system and causing hormonal issues. Okay? A new concept. So, and I can sit here and go on and on. Heavy metals that we're being exposed to today that we were not exposed to the level that we were back in the day. I can go on and on and on, and I could be here probably for 3 or 4 more hours and still be naming the toxins that didn't pretty much exist 50, 60 years ago that we're being exposed to every minute of the day today. So this is why detoxification is so important. And this is why people are so sick. And this is the one thing that people aren't checking the box on when they're starting the healing journey. So it's really important you know and understand that these 8 things that I'm about to share with you, it's a lifestyle. It's not something you do just when you're detoxifying, okay? Or you're doing my detox. It's something that you incorporate into your lifestyle, okay? So without any further ado, let's start with number 1. The first thing you want to do to start your detoxification process, especially if you're doing my detox, the most important thing, don't put toxins in while you're trying to get toxins out. All right, that makes no sense. I'll see somebody doing my detox online and they'll show what they're eating, and they're eating something that is pretty much the reason why they're having the detox in the first place. Don't put toxins in while you're trying to pull toxins out. It will neutralize itself. Okay? It's important you know and understand that, because most people don't have a firm understanding of what is healthy food. Okay? And I'm not just talking about food that you put in your mouth. I'm talking about the lotion that you're putting on your skin. Check the label. Whatever you're putting on your face, whatever you're bathing your body with, whatever you're washing your clothes with, okay? It gets in the fabric and it makes a little coating on the fabric that absorbs it into your skin. Look at every area of your life to see what could go into your body. Anything you put on your skin that touches you, or you put in your mouth, or you breathe in, or you listen to, or even what you watch could be toxic to you, okay? So before you start this journey, you got to look at your life and see where you need to remove toxins from your life. All right, eliminate first, okay? Because once you eliminate the things that are going in, now that's half the battle. That's half the battle, literally eliminating the things that are going in your body. Because if you're trying to detox while you're throwing toxins in, it's literally like being intoxicated with alcohol and saying you're going to stop drinking alcohol, but I'm going to take a shot every 3 to 4 hours. That's exactly what we're doing when we're doing a detox. But every 3 to 4 hours, which most people eat every 3 to 4 hours, 3 times a day, is literally like taking a shot of alcohol and hoping to sober up. It won't happen. All right. So that's the first thing you got to do. Number 2, don't detox while you're stressed. This is a huge one. I haven't really dove into this as much as I needed to. I have in my group detoxes that I do, but do not detox while you're stressed. Let me help you understand something. As you guys know, I try to always give you a holistic perspective on not only health, but also healing as well too. And what I want to share with you is this. And for a second, we're going to go into common sense corner. And what I mean by that is just use our common sense. You have to understand, if you're going to heal, you got to heal the whole self, which means the mind, body, and spirit. Okay? So if you're trying to detox, it means letting things go, relieving things, eliminating things. Okay? Surrendering these things. Okay? I know how hard it could be to surrender to a sweet tooth. I know how hard it could be to surrender to mother's cooking. I know how hard it could be to do all those things. But when we discover something is no longer serving us, then it's not a letting go that we need to do. It's a surrendering that we need to do. Okay? When we know it's something that we need to let go. So it's important to know, if we're going to heal ourselves, mind, body, and spirit, you got to heal the whole. And what that means is that if you are incapable of letting go a toxic thought, a toxic person, a toxic food, what makes you think that your body is going to do it? What makes you think that your body will release the heavy metals? What makes you think your body will release the 10 to 25 pounds of undigested feces rotting and fermenting in your gut that has been sitting there for years and hasn't moved? If you're not willing to let go all things that aren't serving you, the unfortunate thing is it's going to be very difficult to let go of physical toxins. if you can't let go of those toxins that aren't physical. So hugely important. And when you're stressing and you're trying to detox, your body is going to be in sympathetic activity. Okay, we have an autonomic nervous system. Sympathetic is heightened activity. That's heart rate up. That's fight or flight, running from a bear. That's I'm stressed out. That's I'm upset. Okay, when you're stressed, that's your body is in that mode. Okay, hugely important. When your body is in that mode, it's going to be very difficult for you to go into what is called sympathetic, which we'll talk about in a second. So don't detox while you're stressed. And if you are stressed and you live a stressful life, you have to put mechanisms in place to cope with your stress. It's impossible to live a stress-free life, but we can manage our stress. All right. So that's number 2. Number 3, drink more water. Drink more water, and here's why. We eliminate toxicity primarily with water. All right. If it goes out through your bowel movements, guess what? 70% of your bowel movement is water, even though it doesn't look that way. It's mostly water. All right. If we eliminate through our kidneys, uric acid that we call urine, guess what? That is water. Okay. If it goes through our skin, you think something dry is just going to come out through the skin? No, it requires water. And when your skin gets really dry, you're not detoxing. Okay, so gotta have water. All right. So no matter how it goes, if you want to eliminate, and also the more water you drink, the better the process will be during elimination of the toxins. Okay, it will decrease a lot of those withdrawal symptoms like headaches, nausea, etc. Okay, a lot of times you're having those symptoms because you're dehydrated and you can't get those toxins out. Okay, because the body has to figure out, okay, yeah, I want to detox, but I also need water for the brain. Okay, yeah, I want to detox, but I also need water for the muscles as well too. So it's sort of like a give and go, trying to figure out what to do, because I got these essential things that I need water for, the heartbeat, etc. Because the heart is electric, uses water, all right, to conduct electricity. But I also want to get these toxins out. Well, it's gonna prioritize your heartbeat. But if you have enough water and you're not dehydrated, guess what? It can prioritize everything. Okay? So drink more water. All right. Number 4, eat the cleanse, not the clog. What I mean by this is you need to eat primarily raw. Okay? Eat food in its original state. The more raw food you eat, the better. Okay? I'm like green juices, green smoothies, salads, etc., fruit, nuts, seeds, etc. Eat raw foods, because those foods are not only going to be cleansing, but those foods also have their own digestive enzymes. They help your body process the food. But when you cook the food, you are cooking out those digestive enzymes and you're killing those digestive enzymes. So number 4, eat the cleanse, not the clog. Number 5, you got to have bitters. You got to have bitters for bowel release, okay? Bitters like the ones that are in these herbs, okay? So check out my detox. The reason why my detox is bitter is because bitters not only stimulate digestion, but they help with detoxification. The bitters will stimulate the release of bile, okay? Like I was telling you earlier, when you have bitters and you're detoxifying, in this case, the liver, right? Those toxins, when they're coming out of the liver, they got to go out of the liver and the gallbladder into the small intestine to be eliminated from there. All right. But if you're not stimulating that bowel movement and it's stagnant, and for a lot of people, their bile is stagnant. Okay. This is why gallbladder surgery is the #1 elective surgery in the US. All right. So it's important to stimulate that movement to get the hydrochloric acid in the stomach going, increasing, okay, to get the bowel movement moving as well too. And bitters do that. Bitters are also good because they help with immature taste buds. Okay, so they'll curb a lot of those cravings, like those sugar cravings. They help with gas and bloating as well too. They relieve heartburn, okay, and they help to maintain blood sugar levels. So bitters should be a part of what we do. Whenever I go to the Caribbean or I go somewhere in Africa, bitters are very common. You can go pretty much anywhere and you find some bitters. They're very familiar. But here in the US, we've lost our tradition and our way. It stopped getting passed down. So we got to rediscover that. So you got to have bitters. If you want to detox, you got to have bitters, okay? And that's why, again, I know people are going to comment and talk about the bitter taste of the herbs, but here's the thing. You also got to, if you're going to say that in the comments, you also got to tell people about how after about 5 days, you notice that your taste buds change. You notice that it curved your appetite. You notice that it curved the sugar cravings. All right, so you got to tell the whole picture if you're going to say anything in the comments. All right, number six, you got to sweat. Again, I was telling you earlier, one of the primary ways that we eliminate one of the detoxification systems in the body is the skin. The skin is the largest organ in the body, and it's the largest elimination organ. It's how we really eliminate. Okay, so if you need to increase exercise, that's going to help a lot. Sitting in the sauna, that's going to help a lot. Make sure you drink water before, during, and after. But it's hugely important. If you want to help the process of detoxification, if you want to maintain detoxification so you can maintain getting these toxins out of the body, you got to sweat. You got to move. When you move, you stimulate the lymphatic system, which I told you earlier is the sewage system in the body as well too. All right, so you got to sweat. Number 6. Number 7. You got to increase glutathione, okay? Glutathione is a powerful antioxidant, okay? It is heavily involved with one of the pathways by which the liver detoxifies. With insufficient amounts of glutathione, you won't properly detoxify, okay? Glutathione is also really important because it also helps to repair the cells and cleanse the cell to get rid of free radicals. It also helps with mitochondrial function. Mitochondria are the powerhouses that create energy in our bodies. And sometimes our mitochondria becomes dysfunctional. When it does, we go into chronic fatigue because it's our energy storehouse. And guess what? Glutathione, that powerful antioxidant, helps with that. It also supports liver detoxification, as I mentioned before, and it also helps with damaged DNA, which could lead to mutations, which could lead to cancer. Now, you can go out there and get a liposomal, glutathione supplement, but I always tell people to start with food sources. Some food sources for glutathione are going to be avocados, bok choy, kale. Brazil nuts are really good because you're not only going to get the glutathione, boost, but you're also going to get selenium as well too. Okra, cucumbers as well too. So you got to increase glutathione while you're doing a detox. The last thing, the very last one, is you have to rest so you can repair and regenerate. I mentioned this earlier, but if your body is constantly in sympathetic activity, which is fight or flight, you're always stressed, you're always in a state of anxiety, your body will not detoxify. When your body is in sympathetic, it can't do parasympathetic activity. That means all parasympathetic activity will be shut down. Let me give you some examples of what happens, and this is why it's so important to manage your stress. When you're constantly in a stress mode, and most people don't know how stressed they are. Most of the time when I ask people what their stress levels are, the number is always 4 points too low. They'll say they're a 3, they're really a 7. They'll say they're a 5 and they're really a 9. Okay? Because they don't know how to properly evaluate it. But once we sit there and start to go over and evaluate, they realize that, no, I'm like at an 8. I'm about to check out. So it's important to know and understand, whenever you're in sympathetic, whenever you're in this anxiety state, whenever you're in this antsy state, whenever you're always upset or you're always fussy, irritated, when you're in that state, your parasympathetic activity shuts down. Parasympathetic activity includes digestion and detoxification. It includes immunity. It suppresses your immune system when you're in sympathetic activity. All right. It suppresses your respiration. You'll notice it's more difficult to breathe deeply. You'll notice that you breathe more shallow. And if you were to do a breathing exercise to take deep breaths in, you'll notice that it'll become very difficult, and sometimes you might even become lightheaded. Okay. And it also shuts down elimination as well too. So now you're constipated. Now you're not eliminating things from the body as well too. So it's so important to know and understand that when you're in fight or flight, which is a good thing when a bear is chasing you, to go in fight or flight where all the blood shunts away from the torso to the arms and the legs, so you can either get away, run away, or fight. Okay, so it's good during those incidents where you're about to be robbed or something like that. But when you're just on a regular day stuck in fight or flight, you're literally loading your body with toxic stress hormones and you're shutting down your parasympathetic activity. So I hope this has been helpful to not only help you understand why it's so important to detox on a consistent basis, but also why it's so important to incorporate it in your lifestyle. And so hopefully you'll be incorporating these in your daily lifestyle. Hopefully you'll share this video with somebody you love and care about, because this is a community and caring is sharing. And hopefully you'll hit that subscribe button so when great content like this comes out in the future, you'll get notified. Until the next time, peace and blessings and Godspeed.